Hello and welcome back to Grace.Filled. I'm so excited that you are here with me for another video, and in this video I cannot wait, or maybe I can, to talk about my homemaking journey. This is a video that I have been going back and forth making for a really long time because I want to be an honoring person to the people in my lives while being completely honest and transparent and raw. And so I personally think that there is such a thin line and it's hard to do both. But in this video, I am attempting to do both so you can understand me and my journey a little bit more. I have had kind of a tougher start with my homemaking. Homemaking has not been easy for me. It did not come natural to me. It did not come easy to me. And it's been something that I have struggled with. So I don't make this video and these videos as a look at me. I've arrived. I'm perfect. I do everything right. I have it all together, which honestly is why I didn't want to make this or other videos, because that's just not what's happening and that's just not my life. However, I make these videos and I give these messages to you as your sister who's right there with you, walking you through it and walking beside you and sharing the things that have helped me in hopes that they help you, remembering when I needed help and encouragement and guidance and direction and I had no one. And I remember the Lord saying to me one day, the thing that you need the most is what I want you to be to others. And I was like, huh? Not me, certainly not me. But why not me? Why not me? And so today there are some things that I want to talk to you about. To start with, I did experience a lot growing up and I had a tougher start than most. I have seen and experienced various types of abuse, and I did not come from a homemaker. I did not come from a home cooked meals in a clean house. I actually had a lot of cereal and Hot Pockets and just convenience meals. And I also did not come from a minimalist home. I came from the exact opposite of that. So already you can see I didn't have a good foundation to begin with. It was not the best foundation. I did have a foundation that was rooted in Christ. And so that was the best thing that I had. And that was because I had experiences with Christ myself. And I had met and had experiences with the Holy Spirit from a young age. And so that was the silver lining and the blue skies in my earlier years of life when they really were dark. So I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I didn't know what it should look like, but I knew what it should not look like, and I knew what I was not supposed to do. And so that is how I set out on my journey. So instead of starting out with knowing what to do, I started off knowing what not to do. And so the things that I knew not to do, I did not do. And so I worked my way from the bottom to the top versus how some people work from the top to the bottom. So all the things that I knew that I wasn't supposed to do, I didn't do that. And so I was like, okay, well, I don't know if I'm supposed to do this or not. So I'll just try it and see if it works or not, and I'll go from there. And so the more and more I did that, the more and more I got on a path that was clearer for me and better for me to understand and just get some clarity as to what I was supposed to be doing and what life really should look like. Because again, all I knew is what life should not look like. And I want to encourage you that that's okay too, that if you've come from a broken home and from broken places like that, then who better to be a homemaker than you, and who better to lead this revolution where we are really changing the trajectory of our families and breaking generational curses, and that we are really and truly leaving a legacy and changing a generation, just beginning with ourselves, just beginning with doing the inner work, the inner healing, letting go of the past and using what has been and those things that could have broken us to make us and to catapult us to destiny and to promise and to future and all the things that the Most High has planned for you and for me. So I remember I began to watch A Farmhouse Full, and I began to watch The Duggars, and then I came across someone who looked like me, and that was half mom, half amazing. And when I started watching her YouTube channel, my entire life changed. I mean, literally, my life changed because I know her personally in life, and I've known her for multiple years, and she's such a sweet and dear friend of mine. And what you see on those videos is the way that she is. Like, when I would go to her house, there was never, ever, she would say there was, but I'm telling you, there was nothing out of place. Everything was just completely clean. She had menus, to-do lists, she had checklists, she had planners, and your girl was forgetting about appointments. I was just forgetting about a lot of things. I was a mess. And so that's when I started to say, okay, let me get a planner and I can write things down. So again, it's the things that seem small to some people, but I realize and understand that they're not small to others. And so I just began learning and learning and learning. And I began just to observe the way she did things, the way she moved, the way she organized, how her home was. And I realized I have too much stuff. I'll never forget one time. I came back from her house and I walked into my own house and I was like, wow, like my house looks like a pigsty. It was just, not that it was really a pigsty, but her house was just so clean and minimal. And my house was more like what I experienced growing up. It was cluttered. And so I remember having like 3 dressers in my hallway and in one of my son's rooms. 2 dressers in the hallway and one was in the room. And I was like, why do I have all of this stuff? Like, yeah, I do have 4 boys, and so we are kind of passing down clothes, but I began to think like, this is ridiculous. And I'm like, I want the feeling that I have when I go into her house. And so in that moment, and my husband did not feel the same way, I will say. But I was like, I was on a mission to declutter that stuff, to get rid of those dressers, to reclaim my space, my home. I was just like, what kid needs a million shirts? And I'm like, by the time we even get to that size, we might not even need that. They may not even be able to fit that. I might want a different style. And I realized that the clutter and the things were robbing me of my joy, of my peace, of my space, of my home. And that is another part of the reason it took so much longer to clean, because I had so much stuff. And that is really when I started my path more toward a minimalist life. Have I arrived there? No. There are still some things in my life that I find that I have a little bit more than I need. But the reality is, when I sit on where I am now and when I look back to where I was and where I came from, I'm just like, wow. Every day I walk through and I'm thankful at the progress that I have made. Just going from forgetting appointments and things to being able to work more with a schedule, from going from processed foods and boxes of cereal to knowing how to make meals from scratch, knowing how to can, knowing how to preserve, knowing how to bake fresh breads, like wow, to freeze things and dehydrate things. I am just so overjoyed at the journey and how far I have actually come. And even just the mentality shifts from thinking that I had to have things new and designer to even loving and looking forward to being able to thrift and to piece together something that I absolutely love. And so just going from feeling unloved and unwanted and uncared for to cultivating an atmosphere where you feel like you belong, where you are loved, where you are celebrated, your unique differences, gifts, talents, and all, even the things that people don't like, you're celebrated for those weaknesses, because I have realized what a difference that can make and what a difference it makes in someone's life. So this reflection just of my homemaking journey has just been so good for me. And times when I feel like I'm not enough, I don't do enough. Maybe times when, like recently, we went out of town and we came back to lots of loads of clothes and some things being out of place. It's just good to go back and remember where you came from. So even when you have those bad moments, you know that this is just a moment. This is not who I am. And all of the progress and things that I made is real. Like, it is real. It's legit. It's changed my life. It's changed the lives of others. Me sharing my journey all these years have been impactful and meaningful. And so many people have commented that they've learned and they've grown and they're better moms and better wives and better homeschool teachers. And that brings me to tears. And I just want to say, it's okay if your journey doesn't look like anybody else's, that it's okay if your journey has taken you a lot longer than others. It's okay if what others can do instantly, it's taken you years to accomplish. I just want to let you know, I see you, I'm here with you, I get you. And I just want to let you know that keep on pushing and giving and doing your very best, because the Father has need of you. And what you're doing is so important for this generation and for your family. I am so proud of you, and I just want to say to keep being encouraged. So I am out of time, never out of words. I have an extensive playlist. Make sure you check that out. Give me a thumbs up, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back to share more really soon from my heart. Until then, blessings.